Hello and welcome to SonicSage English. I'm Julia, and today we are going to talk about something very special. It is something many learners ask about. This is a journey to make your English sound more beautiful, more confident, and more like you. Do you ever feel like you use the same words every day? Words like good or bad or happy? These words are great. They are important. But maybe you feel ready for something more. Maybe you want to express your big ideas and your deep feelings. If you feel this way, you are in the perfect place. This episode is for you. We will learn 20 new words and phrases. These are not difficult, scary words. They are useful, everyday words. Words that will help you say exactly what you mean. Think of it like this. You have built a beautiful house with the basic words. Now it is time to paint the walls with beautiful colors. These new words are your new colors. So please find a comfortable place. Maybe you are sitting with a warm cup of tea. Maybe you are walking in a park. Or maybe you are just resting at home. Wherever you are, I am happy we are together. Before we begin, I want to say thank you. Thank you for choosing to spend your time with me. Learning a new language is a brave thing to do, and you are doing it. If you enjoy our time together today, please think about following our podcast. Or you can give it a like. It is a small action, but it helps so much. It helps other learners just like you find our little community. And I would love to know where you are. Where are you listening from today? Are you in the Philippines, or Bangladesh, or Indonesia, or somewhere else in our beautiful world? Thinking of you all around the world makes my heart feel full. Okay, are you ready, my friend? Let's begin our gentle journey into new words. Let's start. Before we learn our first word, let's talk for a moment. Let's talk about why learning new words is so important. You might think, Anna, I can communicate with basic words. Why do I need more? And that is a very good question. The answer is simple. It is about precision and impact. Precision means saying exactly what you feel and what you think. Imagine you see a beautiful movie. You could say it was good, and that is fine. But what if you could say it was captivating? That word has a special feeling. It means the movie held your attention completely. It sounds more powerful, right? Or imagine a task was difficult. You could say it was hard, but you could also say it was challenging. Challenging means it was hard, but in a good way. It made you grow. It made you stronger. Using a bigger vocabulary helps people understand your heart and mind better. It makes your words more interesting, more colorful, more you. Also, when you use a wider range of words, it shows something special. It shows you care about the English language. It shows you have spent time learning and growing. This can make a very good impression at work, at school, with new friends. It is not about showing off. It is not about being better than anyone else. No, not at all. It is about having the right tool for the right moment. Think about a chef who cooks delicious food. Does a chef use only one knife? No. A chef has many different knives. A small knife for small vegetables. A big knife for bread. Each knife has a special job. As an English speaker, your words are your tools. Having more words is like having more tools. You can build more beautiful things with your language. So every new word you learn is an investment. It is an investment in you, in your future, in your dreams. So let's get our new tools. Let's start learning. Section 1, Actions and Getting Things Done. Okay, Let's begin with our first group of words. This group is all about action, about doing things, about getting things done. These words will add energy to your sentences. They are dynamic and strong. Our very first phrase is the perfect one to start with. The phrase is step aside. Let's say it together very slowly. Ready? Step aside. Step aside. This is a phrasal verb. That just means it is a verb with a little friend word. Here, step is the verb, and aside is its friend. Together, they make a new meaning. Literally, a step aside means to move your body. You move to the side to make space for someone. Imagine you're in a busy hallway at a train station. It is very crowded. Someone behind you wants to pass. They might say, "Excuse me, could you please step aside?" What would you do? You would move to the wall. You would make a little path for them to walk past. This is a very common and polite thing to do. You are stepping aside. But this phrase also has another meaning, a deeper, more powerful meaning. It can mean leaving a job or a position so that another person can take your place. Let me tell you a little story. There was a man named Mr. Haruto. He was the CEO of a big company for 30 years. He worked very hard. He loved his company. But he was getting older. He felt it was time for new ideas, for new energy. So he decided it was time to step aside. He let a younger leader take his position. He did not literally move his body to the side in the office. He left his job, his important role. He stepped aside to create an opportunity for someone new. It was a very wise and graceful decision. Let's look at a few more examples. Imagine you are in the supermarket with a big cart. You see a family with a small child trying to get something from a shelf. You could say to your friend, "Let's step aside for a moment to let that family go by." This is the literal meaning, moving your body. Now for the other meaning, you might read a news headline. It could say, "The team captain chose to step aside after the losing season." This means the captain is quitting their role as captain. They are making space for a new captain. We can even use it for ideas. Old theories have to step aside when new evidence is discovered. This means new ideas are replacing the old ones. Now it's important to know, step aside is not the same as walk away. Walking away can feel a little negative. It can mean you are frustrated or angry. You leave a situation because you give up. But stepping aside is a choice. It is a purposeful action. You do it to create a space, an opportunity for something or someone else to come forward. It is a very thoughtful phrase. Are you ready for our next one? I think you will find this one very useful. Our next phrase is wipe down. Listen to how it sounds. Wipe down. Wipe down. This is another phrasal verb, and it is something we do every single day. To wipe down something means to clean a surface. You usually use a cloth. You wipe the whole surface to make it clean. Imagine you just finished cooking a delicious dinner. The kitchen counter has a little flour on it, a little bit of sauce. You take a wet cloth and you clean the whole counter. You are wiping down the kitchen counter. The little word down here is interesting. It adds a feeling of completeness, like you are cleaning the whole surface from top to bottom. You can just say, wipe. For example, if your hands are a little dirty, you wipe them on a towel. But when you are cleaning a whole table or a whole counter, saying wipe down sounds more natural. It sounds more specific. Let's see it in some daily situations. Before we start baking cookies, I'm going to wipe down all the kitchen surfaces. This means cleaning all the counters. At the end of the day, the gym staff has to wipe down all the equipment. They clean all the machines for the next day. Imagine your child was painting a picture at the table. There is a little paint on the table. You can say, "Okay, sweetie, it's time to wipe down the table." Now, a small point that can be confusing. What is the difference between wipe down and wipe off? This is a great question. You wipe down a surface. The surface is the table or the counter. You wipe off the mess that is on the surface. The mess is the crumbs or the spilled juice. So you can say, first, I will wipe off the breadcrumbs. Then I will wipe down the whole table. See the difference? You wipe the mess off of the surface and you wipe the surface down. It's a small detail, but it will make you sound very natural. Wipe down. You are doing a great job. Let's continue. Our next word is a fantastic verb. It is very descriptive. The word is ring. Be very careful with this one. It is pronounced just like the word ring, like a ring on your finger. Let's say it. Ring, ring. Perfect. To wring, something means to twist it and to squeeze it very hard. You do this to get liquid out of it. The most common example is wringing out a wet cloth. Imagine you washed a towel by hand. It is full of water. It is soaking wet. What do? You hold it with both hands. You twist it very, very tightly. Water comes pouring out. That action, that twisting and squeezing is called wringing. You are wringing out the towel. This word creates a very strong picture in your mind. You can almost feel the pressure. Because of this strong feeling, we also use it in a figurative way. This means we use it for ideas, not just for wet cloths. We use it when you have to get something from a person with great difficulty. Let's imagine a situation. Your friends saw a movie, but they will not tell you what happened. You keep asking them questions. Who was in it? Was it happy? Was it sad? Finally, they tell you the story. You could say, I had to wring the story out of him. It felt like you had to twist and squeeze to get the information. Let's look at some examples. First, a literal one about water. She wrung out the sponge and wiped the counter. She squeezed the water out of the sponge. Now, a figurative one about information. The detective had to wring a confession out of the suspect. The detective had to work very hard to make the suspect tell the truth. And another creative, figurative one, I felt like that sad movie was trying to wring every last tear out of me. Like it felt like the movie was squeezing your heart to make you cry. So, wring is not just about drying something. You hang your clothes on a line to dry. Wringing is that very specific, very forceful twisting motion to get water out. It's a powerful word, isn't it? Wring. We have one more word in this first section. Are you ready? The word is swerve. Listen to the sound. Swerve. It has a quick, sharp sound. To swerve means to change your direction very suddenly. You usually do this to avoid hitting something. This word is used most often when we talk about driving a car or riding a bicycle. Imagine you are driving down a quiet country road. Suddenly, a beautiful deer runs out from the trees. It is right in front of your car. You must act fast. You turn the steering wheel very quickly to the left or right. That sudden, sharp turn is a swerve. You swerve to avoid the deer. It is a reaction. A reaction to danger. Swerve is a much stronger and more specific word than turn. A turn can be slow. A turn can be planned. You see a sign that says your friend's street is next. You slow down and you turn onto their street. But a swerve is almost never planned. It is a quick, reactive movement. Let me tell you a small story about my friend Maria. Maria was riding her new bicycle yesterday. She was in the bike lane. A person was walking and looking at their phone. They were not paying attention. They stepped right into the bike lane in front of Maria. Maria had to swerve to miss the pedestrian. She moved her bicycle suddenly to the side. It was a close call, but everyone was safe. She had to swerve. Here are some more examples. The driver had to swerve to avoid a massive pothole in the road. A pothole is a big hole in the road surface. A cyclist swerved to miss a pedestrian who stepped out in front of him. This is just like Maria's story. And remember, we can also use this word figuratively. Just like ring, we can use it for conversations. The discussion was lighthearted, but then it swerved into a serious debate about politics. This means the conversation topic changed very suddenly and unexpectedly. So a swerve is not a gentle curve. A road can have a gentle curve through the mountains, but a car swerves on that road to avoid a rock. A swerve is always a quick, reactive movement to avoid a problem. Swerve. Wonderful. You have just learned 4 excellent words and phrases about action. Step aside, wipe down, ring, and swerve. You are doing an amazing job. Section 2. Thinking and planning verbs. Okay, my friend, we just talked about physical actions. Now let's switch gears. Let's move from the body to the mind. These next words are all about thinking and checking and planning. Using them will make you sound more careful, more precise, and more professional. Our first word in this section is very important. The word is inspect. Let's say it together. Inspect. Inspect. To inspect something means to look at it very, very carefully. You are looking for problems or faults, or you are checking its quality. It is a very formal and thorough kind of looking. You don't just glance at it, you examine it in great detail. Think of a mechanic. A good mechanic will inspect a car's engine before a long trip. They will look at every part carefully. They are checking for any possible problems. Inspect is a much stronger word than look at or check. For example, you might check your watch to see the time. It's a quick look. Oh, it's 3 o'clock. But if your watch stops working, you might inspect your watch. You will look at it very closely. You will look at the hands, the battery, the strap. You are trying to find the reason why it stopped. You are looking for a problem. That is an inspection. Let me tell you a story about my friends, David and Sarah. They wanted to buy a new house. They found a house they loved. It was old and beautiful. But before they bought it, they were smart. They hired a professional person. This person came to the house to inspect the foundation. The foundation is the very bottom part of the house in the ground. The inspector looked for cracks. He checked for any signs of damage. He inspected it for hours. His job was to find any hidden problems. This inspection helped David and Sarah make a good decision. Let's look at some other examples. Health officials regularly inspect restaurant kitchens to make sure they are clean. They look very carefully to make sure the food is safe. The factory manager will inspect the production line every morning. The manager checks the machines carefully to make sure everything is working correctly. You would not say you inspect the TV guide to see what's on. You would check the TV guide. Inspect has a feeling of a formal process. You are looking for something specific, like a problem or a flaw or a crack. Inspect. It's a very good word. Our next word is wonderful for clear communication. The word is specify. Let's pronounce it together. Specify. Specify. Lovely. To specify means to state something very clearly and very precisely. When you specify something, you leave no room for doubt. It is the opposite of being vague or general. Imagine you are having a party. You ask your friend, "Could you please bring some food?" This is very general. Your friend might bring chips or a cake or a salad. You don't know what you will get, but if you want to be clear, you can specify. You could say, "Could you please bring a large pepperoni pizza?" Now your friend knows exactly what you want. There is no confusion. You have specified the food you want. This word is so important whenever details matter, when you give instructions, when you make plans with friends, or when you sign a contract for a job. Let's look at some examples to make it even clearer. The contract specifies that the project must be finished by December 31st. It is written very clearly. The date is exact. When you order a shirt online, you need to specify your size and color. You must choose medium or large. You must choose blue or red. You specify the details. Imagine your boss says, "Please send me the documents." You can ask, "Could you please specify which documents you need me to sign?" This is a great question. It shows you are careful and want to do the job correctly. We don't use specify for general abstract ideas. You would not say, "I want to specify happiness." That does not make sense. You use it when there are many options and you need to name one particular detail. Specify. It helps everyone understand each other better. Next, we have a word that is a perfect partner for specify. The word is clarify. Let's say it. Clarify, clarify, beautiful. To clarify something means to make it easier to understand. You usually do this by explaining it in a new way or by giving an example. The root of the word is clear, and that is exactly what you are doing. You are making something clear. If someone says something and you feel confused, you can ask them to clarify. This is a powerful and polite thing to do. It shows you are listening carefully and you want to understand. Let me tell you about a student named Sophia. She was in a science class. The teacher was explaining a difficult idea. Sophia listened, but she did not understand. She was a little nervous to ask a question, but she was brave. She raised her hand and said, "I'm sorry. I don't understand. Could you please clarify that last point?" The teacher smiled. The teacher used a diagram, a picture. The diagram helped to clarify the difficult concept. Suddenly, Sophia understood. Asking for clarification was the key. It is also kind to offer to clarify. If you are explaining something and you see a confused look on someone's face, you can say, "Let me clarify my position." This shows you care about being understood. Let's look at a few sentences. "I'm sorry. I don't understand. Could you please clarify that last point?" This is the perfect sentence to use when you are confused. The teacher used a diagram to clarify the difficult concept. The diagram made it easier to see. Let me clarify my position. I support the project's goal, but I disagree with the method. This means I want to be very clear about what I think. Clarifying is not just repeating the same words, but louder. That is not helpful. Clarifying is about rephrasing. It's about finding a new way to say it or giving a clear example to remove all confusion. Clarify. A wonderful word for communication. Now, for a phrase you probably already do, but maybe you did not have the perfect words for it. The phrase is double check. Let's say it. Double check. Double check. Great. This is a very simple but very powerful phrase. To double check means to check something for a second time. You check it once, and then you check it again. You do this to be absolutely sure that it is correct. We double check important things to prevent mistakes. Think about it. You might check your email to see if you have new messages. That is a quick, normal look. But imagine you are sending a very important email for a job application. You wrote the email. You attached your resume. Before you click send, what do? You double check. You check again that you attached the correct file. You check again that you spelled the person's name correctly. That second check is the double check. The word double adds a feeling of caution, of responsibility. Let me give you a few everyday examples. I always double check that I have my passport before leaving for the airport. This is a very smart thing to do. Before you submit the exam, you should double check all your answers. This can help you find small mistakes. He is a very careful worker. He double checks every calculation. This shows he is responsible and wants his work to be perfect. You would not usually double check something that is not important. For example, you would not double check which pair of socks you put on. You would just check once or just put them on. Double checking is for those moments when accuracy is very, very important. Double check. A habit of successful people. Our next word is an adjective. An adjective is a word that describes something. This word describes a way of thinking. The word is analytical. This is a longer word, so let's say it slowly. Analytical. Analytical. Wonderful. If a person is analytical, it means they are very good at using logic. They can take a big, complex problem and break it down into smaller, simpler parts. This helps them to understand the problem deeply. An analytical person does not just see a problem. They see the pieces of the problem. They are logical. They are systematic. Describing someone as analytical is a big compliment. It is a compliment to their mind, to their way of thinking. Imagine there is a big puzzle, a puzzle with 1,000 pieces. Some people might look at all the pieces and feel overwhelmed, but an analytical person might say, "Okay, first, let's find all the edge pieces. Then let's sort all the pieces by color." They break the big problem, the whole puzzle, into smaller tasks. This logical approach is an analytical approach. Let's look at how to use it in a sentence. She has a very analytical mind and is excellent at solving complex puzzles. The report provides an analytical look at the company's financial performance. This means the report does not just give numbers. It explains what the numbers mean. Instead of making an emotional choice, he took an analytical approach, weighing the pros and cons. He made a list of good things and bad things to make a logical decision. What is the opposite of an analytical approach? It would be an emotional approach or an intuitive approach. An intuitive person might make a decision based on a gut feeling, a feeling in their stomach. An analytical person wants to see the facts. They want to see the data. Both ways of thinking can be valuable. But analytical describes this logical step-by-step way of thinking. Analytical. Our final word for this section is another verb for the mind. The word is memorize. Let's memorize. Excellent. To memorize something means to learn it so perfectly that you can repeat it exactly from your memory. It is a much stronger and more active process than just remembering. For example, you might remember a happy day from your childhood. The memory just comes to you. It's passive, but you don't memorize a happy day. You memorize a poem for school. You memorize a list of important dates for a history test. You memorize your lines for a play. Memorizing involves effort. It involves practice. You read it again and again and again. You are working to commit that information to your long-term memory. Let's see some examples. Actors have to memorize hundreds of lines for a single play. It is a huge amount of work. In school, we had to memorize the multiplication tables. Do you remember doing that? 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. He tried to memorize the phone number instead of writing it down. This can be risky. It's better to write it down and double-check. So the difference between memorize and remember is very important. Remembering can be passive. It can happen by accident. Oh, I just remembered it's my friend's birthday. Memorizing is always active. It is always an intentional process. You decide to do it. Memorize. Look at that. We have learned another 6 incredible words for thinking and planning. Inspect, specify, clarify, double-check, analytical, and memorize. Your mind is a beautiful garden, and you have just planted 6 new wonderful flowers in it. We have already covered 10 wonderful words and phrases. That is amazing. You are doing such a great job. We talked about action words. Words like swerve to avoid a problem and ring to squeeze something tightly. And we talked about thinking words. Words like inspect to check something carefully and clarify to make things easy to understand. You are building a more powerful, more beautiful vocabulary, step by step, word by word. So I have a little question for you. Of these first 10 words we have learned, which one is your favorite? Which word feels special to you? Which one can you imagine yourself using soon? Maybe it is step aside, or double check, or analytical. If you feel comfortable, I would love for you to share your favorite word in the comments section, wherever you are listening to this podcast. I love reading your answers. It helps me to see which words are connecting with you, which words are hitting home. And hey, if you are finding our time together helpful, if you are feeling a little more confident, do me a small favor and hit that like button, or give our podcast a 5-star rating. It truly helps our little podcast family to grow. It tells me that you want more lessons just like this one. Thank you. Now let's get back to our journey. We have 10 more beautiful words waiting for us. Let's go. Section 3. Collaboration and communication verbs. Welcome back, my friend. This next group of words is so important for our lives today. It is all about working with other people and communicating our ideas. These skills are more important than ever. Our first word in this section is a real game changer. It is a beautiful word. The word is facilitate. Let's break it down slowly. It's a little long. Facilitate. Facilitate. That was perfect. To facilitate something means to make a process or an action easier. The word comes from a Latin word, facilis, which means easy. So when you facilitate something, you are making it easy. This is a key point. When you facilitate, you are not usually doing the task yourself. Instead, you are creating the conditions that help other people do the task successfully. You are the helper, the guide, the supporter. Let's think about a good meeting leader. A good leader's job is to facilitate the discussion. What does that mean? The leader does not just stand up and give all their own opinions. No. Instead, the leader asks good questions. The leader makes sure every single person in the room has a chance to speak. The leader keeps the conversation on track. The leader facilitates the meeting. They make it easier for the group to have a productive, successful conversation. Let me tell you a story about a teacher. Her name is Mrs. Chen. Mrs. Chen believes her job is to facilitate learning. She does not just give her students the answers to memorize. Instead, she creates interesting projects. She asks thoughtful questions. She puts students into groups to solve problems together. She is making it easier for them to learn by themselves. She is facilitating their education. Here are some more examples. As a teacher, my role is to facilitate learning, not just give students the answers. This is just like Mrs. Chen. The new software is designed to facilitate better communication between teams. The software makes it easier for team members to talk to each other. The government hoped the tax cuts would facilitate economic growth. They hoped making taxes lower would make it easier for the economy to grow. Now, it is important to know that facilitate is not exactly the same as help. They are similar, but there is a difference. If you help your friend move a heavy sofa, you are physically lifting it. You are doing the work with them. But if you facilitate your friend's move, you might have called the moving truck company for them. You might have organized all the boxes. You might have made a schedule for the day. You made the whole process easier for your friend without lifting the sofa yourself. See the difference? Facilitate. It is a word for leaders and helpers. Next, a word we all need in our lives. The word is cooperate. Let's say it. Cooperate. Cooperate. Excellent. To cooperate means to work together with someone. You work together to achieve a common goal, a goal you both share. It is all about being part of a team, about helping the group succeed. The first part of the word co means together, and you know the word operate. It means to work. So cooperate literally means to work together. It's that simple and that beautiful. This word is the foundation of good teamwork, of friendship, of a happy society. Let's imagine a family. The house is a little messy. If everyone cooperates, Mom washes the dishes, Dad takes out the trash, the children put away their toys. They are all working together. They are cooperating. Because they all share the same goal, a clean and happy home. And because they cooperate, they can clean the house in just 1 hour. Here are some other examples. The two companies decided to cooperate on a new research project. They will work together to discover something new. Police asked the witness to cooperate fully by telling them everything. They asked the person to work with them to solve the crime. Now, you might ask, what is the difference between cooperate and collaborate? That is a fantastic question. They are very, very similar, and you can often use them in the same way. However, collaborate often suggests a deeper, more creative kind of partnership. For example, 2 authors collaborate to write a book together. 2 artists collaborate on a painting. Cooperate can be for simpler, everyday situations. Imagine you are in a car in heavy traffic. You want to change lanes. A kind driver slows down a little to let you in. You are cooperating. The other driver is cooperating. You are working together for a moment to make the traffic flow smoothly, but you are not collaborating on a creative project. So cooperate is a wonderful, general word for working together, cooperate. Here is a very important word for dealing with problems and challenges. The word is address. Now I know you know this word. You have a home address. It is where you live. But here we are using address as a verb, an action word. It has a completely different and very important meaning. The pronunciation is the same. Address. To address a problem means to start dealing with it. It means to give that problem your attention. It is the very first step in solving something. When you address a problem, you are not hiding from it. You are not ignoring it. You are looking at it. You are acknowledging that it exists. And you are starting to think about what to do next. This word is very common and very useful in professional life. A country's leader might give a speech to address the nation's concerns about the economy. A manager in a company might hold a meeting. Why? To address a sudden drop in sales. They will talk about the problem together. Let's look at some examples. In our meeting tomorrow, we need to address the issue of customer complaints. This means we need to talk about this problem and start finding a solution. The company needs to address the lack of diversity in its workforce. This means the company needs to face this problem and start making a plan. Before we can move forward, we must first address the mistakes of the past. This means we have to look at our past mistakes and learn from them. Here is a key distinction. Addressing a problem is not the same as solving it. Addressing the problem is the first brave step. You face it. You start to take action. Solving the problem is the final step. The problem is gone. You cannot solve a problem until you first address it. Address. It's a word of action and responsibility. Our final word in this communication section helps us bring ideas to life. The word is depict. Let's pronounce it together. Depict. Depict. That's it. To depict something means to represent it, to show it in a picture or a story or a film. It is about showing or describing something to an audience. Can you see a little word hidden inside depict? The word picture. That's a great way to remember it. When you depict something, you are painting a picture for someone, maybe with paint or maybe with words. This word is used a lot when we talk about art or literature or movies and media. It is a more sophisticated, more thoughtful way of saying show or describe. Here's how you might use it. The novel depicts the struggles of a family during the Great Depression. The book describes their hard life. It paints a picture with words. The artist's painting depicts a beautiful, peaceful countryside. The painting shows us a calm and lovely place. In the film, the main character is depicted as a hero. The movie shows him as a hero. But in the book, he is more complex. The book shows him in a more complicated way. So, how is depict different from just show? That's a good question. Depict suggests that there is some artistry involved. There is some interpretation, some choice. Think about a security camera in a shop. The camera shows you what happened. It's just a recording. There is no art. But an artist paints a scene. The artist depicts the scene. The artist makes creative choices. What colors to use? What to include in the painting? What to leave out? That process of creative showing is depicting. Depict. A word for storytellers and artists. And we are all storytellers in our own way. Section 4. Adjectives and states of being. All right, my friend, let's shift gears one more time. We have talked about actions and communication. Now let's look at some wonderful descriptive words. These are adjectives. They will help you explain situations and feelings with more color, more accuracy, more emotion. Our first word is full of wonderful energy. The word is spontaneous. Say it with me, spontaneous, spontaneous. It sounds fun, doesn't it? If something is spontaneous, it happens suddenly. It happens without a plan. It is natural. It is impulsive in a good way. Imagine you and your friend are talking on a sunny Saturday morning. You did not have any plans. Suddenly your friend says, "Let's go to the beach right now." You say, "Yes." You get in the car and go. That is a spontaneous road trip. You did not plan it for weeks. It just happened. This is a wonderful word that suggests freedom and fun and living in the moment. Spontaneous laughter is the best kind of laughter. It is real and unplanned. Let's look at some examples. We took a spontaneous road trip to the beach for the weekend. Her joke was so funny that the audience burst into spontaneous applause. Nobody told them to clap. They just did it because they loved the joke. He has a very spontaneous personality. You never know what he'll do next. This describes a person who is exciting and fun to be around. Now, what is the difference between spontaneous and impulsive? They are very similar, but impulsive can sometimes have a slightly negative feeling. It can suggest a lack of thought. An impulsive decision might be a bad one, but spontaneous is almost always positive. It suggests something is fun and genuine and authentic. Spontaneous, a beautiful word for a beautiful life. Next, a word for a feeling we have all had. The word is disorientated. Let's say this one carefully. It is a bit long. Disorientated. Disorientated, very good. To be disorientated means to feel confused. It means you have lost your sense of direction or your sense of time or place. It is that strange feeling when you wake up in a hotel room or at a friend's house. For just 1 or 2 seconds, you don't know where you are, your mind is foggy. That feeling is being disorientated. You might also hear a very similar word, disoriented. Disorientated is a little more common in British English. Disoriented is a little more common in American English, but they both mean the exact same thing. You can use whichever one feels more comfortable for you. Let's see it in context. Imagine a little boy spinning around and around in a chair. He thinks it's very fun. But when he stops, he feels dizzy. He feels disorientated. He cannot walk straight for a moment. Here are some more examples. The dense fog made the hikers completely disorientated. They could not see where they were going. They lost their sense of direction. Waking up from the strange dream, she felt groggy and disorientated for a few minutes. She felt confused about where she was. This word is not just the same as being lost. Being lost is usually a geographical problem. You are in a city you don't know, and you cannot find your hotel. Being disorientated is a deeper mental feeling. It's a state of confusion about your immediate surroundings, even if you are in your own bedroom. Disorientated. A very specific word for very specific feeling. Our final adjective in this section is simple. It is positive. And it is so useful. The word is doable. Let's say it. Doable. Doable. It's easy to say, right? If a task is doable, it means it is possible to do. It is possible to achieve. It might be difficult. It might take a lot of work, but it is not impossible. This is a more informal word, but it is very, very common. We use it all the time in everyday conversation. It is a word used to express realistic optimism. Imagine your boss gives you a very big project. The deadline is in 1 month. You look at all the work. It is a lot. You might say to a colleague, "Wow, this is a lot of work, but I think it's doable." This means it's hard, but we can do it. It is a very encouraging word. Here are some more examples. Running a marathon is a huge challenge, but with 6 months of training, it's definitely doable. It is possible if you prepare. My friend bought some furniture that he had to build himself. He looked at the instructions. There were so many pages. He said, "This looks complicated, but I think it's doable." And he did it. The manager asked if the deadline was realistic. The team agreed it was tight, but doable. They believe they can finish in time. This word is a great practical replacement for it's possible. Possible can be very theoretical. For example, is it possible to travel to Mars one day? In theory, yes, it is possible. But is it doable for you and me to go next week? No, it is not practically achievable right now. Doable is about practical achievement. It's a word of hope and confidence. Doable. I believe that becoming fluent in English is doable for you. It takes time, but it is doable. Section 5. Scheduling and events. We have arrived at our final set of words. You have been an amazing listener. This last group is all about scheduling things and dealing with events. Let's start with a very versatile and interesting word. The word is slate. You might know slate as a type of dark gray rock. People used to use it to write on in schools long ago. But here we are using slate as a verb, and it means something completely different. To slate something means to schedule it or to plan for it to happen at a particular time. This is a very common word in business and in the entertainment industry. It sounds a little more official and definite than just saying plan. Let's look at some examples. The new movie is slated to be released in December. This means the movie company has scheduled its release for December. The next company meeting is slated for Tuesday morning. This means it is officially on the schedule for Tuesday. He is slated to become the next CEO. This means it is the official plan for him to become the next leader. It's like you are writing the event onto the official schedule onto a piece of slate. Now a little side note. In British English, to slate, a person can also mean to criticize them very harshly. But the scheduling meaning is understood everywhere in the world. And that is the main meaning we are focusing on today. Slate, to schedule something officially. Next, we have an essential phrasal verb. You will need this one when plans change. The phrase is call off. Say it with me. Call off. Call off. Great. To call off something means to cancel a planned event. A meeting that was slated for Tuesday. A party you were planning. A wedding. If the event is not going to happen anymore, you call it off. Here is how we use it. They had to call off the baseball game because of the heavy rain. The rain made it impossible to play, so they canceled it. She decided to call off the wedding just a week before. This is a very sad and difficult decision. Due to technical issues, the company called off the product launch. They canceled the event because of problems with the new product. What is the difference between cancel and call off? That's a good question. They are very, very close synonyms. You can almost always use them in the same way. They canceled the game. They called off the game. Both are perfect. Call off is just a little more informal, and it is very, very common in spoken, everyday English. So using it will make you sound very natural. Call off. And now, my friend, we have arrived at our 20th and final phrase. This is a phrase you will definitely need. Though I hope you do not need it too often, the phrase is come down with. Let's say it. Come down with. Come down with. Perfect. To come down with, something means to start to get a minor illness, an illness like a cold or the flu. It describes that very beginning stage when you first start to feel a little bit unwell. You wake up in the morning. Your throat feels a little scratchy. You feel a little tired. You think, oh, no, I think I'm coming down with a cold. This is a very natural and common way to talk about getting sick. It is much more common than saying something formal like, I am beginning to contract an illness. Nobody talks like that in real life. We say, I'm coming down with something. Let's see the final examples. I think I'm coming down with a cold. I've been sneezing all day. My son woke up with a fever. He must be coming down with something. The something means an unnamed illness, probably a cold or flu. After getting caught in the rain yesterday, I was worried I would come down with the flu. This phrase is almost always used for common minor illnesses. You would not say, he is coming down with a broken leg. That does not make sense. A broken leg is an injury. It happens instantly. You come down with an illness that develops over a few hours or a day. It is the perfect expression for that first feeling, that first scratch in your throat that tells you, you are probably going to be sick tomorrow. Come down with. And there you have it. 20 powerful, practical, and beautiful English words and phrases. Let's just take a moment to think about what we have learned together. We learned how to facilitate a process, which means making it easier for other people to succeed. We learned how to address a problem, which is that brave and crucial first step toward a solution. We learned the wonderful word, spontaneous, to describe those fun, happy, unplanned moments in life. We learned to double-check our work for those times when accuracy really, really matters. And we learned how to sound completely natural when we start to feel sick. By saying we are coming down with something, you have just armed yourself with a fantastic new set of vocabulary tools, a whole new set of colors to paint with. Fantastic work today. You made it through the entire lesson. That shows such great commitment. You just invested in yourself. You invested in your English journey, and you took a huge, huge step toward sounding more fluent and feeling more confident. But as you know, learning new words is only half the battle. The first half is learning. The second and most important half is using. We must use our new words to make them truly ours. So here is your gentle challenge for this week. Choose just one of the 20 words we learned today, the one that was your favorite, and try to use it in a sentence. You can write it down in a journal. You can say it to a friend. Or if you feel comfortable, you can share your sentence in the comment section below. This is the absolute best way to move a word from your passive knowledge into your active, everyday vocabulary. I promise I will read every single comment you write. Learning a language is a long journey. It is not a race. It is a slow, beautiful walk. Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. You are doing enough. You are enough. Keep going one step at a time. If you learned at least one new thing today, and if you found our time together valuable, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing or following for more lessons just like this one. Your support means the world to me. It helps me to create more content to help you on your wonderful English journey. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for your commitment to your own growth. It is an honor to be a small part of it. Keep practicing, stay curious, and never forget how far you have already come. See you next time, my friend. Goodbye for now.